Good morning, fourth graders. Welcome to Shared Reading. Just to give you a little bit of a reminder before we start, yesterday we did read Mount Vesuvius 79 CE, letter from Pliny the Younger, and we did close read looking at that first-hand account, looking at those specific details that make it a first-hand account. Today, we are going to be close reading the text that we read last week called Volcanoes, and also Mount Vesuvius 79 CE, letter from Pliny the Younger. And we are going to be looking at a second-hand account, the volcanoes, and a first-hand account, Mount Vesuvius 79 CE, letter from Pliny the Younger. And we are going to be focusing on the ways the first-hand and second-hand accounts differ and how they are similar. So, we are going to be reading paragraph 12 of Volcanoes, which is an example of a second-hand account. So, if you can have your eyes up here at paragraph 12, we are going to go ahead and begin reading. Volcanoes. The most famous volcanic eruption in history occurred at Mount Vesuvius in Italy in 79 CE. Pompeii and two neighboring towns were wiped out within just a few hours. As many as 16,000 people were believed to have died as their homes were buried under layers of rock and ash. The eruption sealed the region as if in a time capsule for more than 1,700 years. It wasn't until the 18th century that archaeologists uncovered the lost cities again. They found people and their pets preserved in white, ashy casts. Also preserved were the remains of homes, fountains, and a theater. Even the fresco paintings decorating some walls were preserved. We have learned much more about this ancient time from uncovering Pompeii than we have from other cities that aged normally. Okay, so this example of a secondhand account did give us a lot of information. I'm going to use this chart here at the bottom to help us identify which key information we did learn there. So I have previously already identified that important information, and I'm going to go ahead and reveal it here. Some important things that they did put in this paragraph is that the volcano was in Pompeii in 79 CE. Thousands of people died. It wasn't until the 18th century that archaeologists found the lost city preserved in ashes, and explosions of ash and rock buried the city of Pompeii. These are all things that were important. These are the 5 W's. It tells us where, it tells us when, it tells us what happened, who was affected, and this was all included in this secondhand account. What I noticed is that this secondhand account is including a lot of facts and details about Mount Vesuvius. So I'm going to go ahead and make that note down here. These are all facts and details. Now as I go ahead and I read the text that we close read yesterday, Mount Vesuvius 79 CE, letter from Pliny the Younger, I'm going to be looking closely at the same event, but I'm going to be noticing how the author here, the author gives us the information, maybe the same or a little bit different. So let's go ahead and read paragraph 8 and 9. The ashes now began to fall upon us, though at first not in great quantity. I look back. A dense, dark mist seemed to be following us. It spread itself over the country like a cloud. Let us go up the high road, I said, while we can still see. I fear that, should we fall in the road, we will be pressed to death in the dark by the crowds that are following us. We had scarcely sat down when night came upon us. It was not like when the sky is cloudy or when there is no moon, but it was like a room when it is shut up, and all the lights put out. We heard the shrieks of women, the screams of children, and the shouts of men. Some were calling for their children, others for their parents, and others for their husbands and wives. They were trying to recognize each other by the voices that replied. One was crying about his own fate, and another that of his family. Some were wishing to die from the fear of dying. Some were lifting their hands to the gods. So this text, this firsthand account was a little bit different. It included information about Mount Vesuvius and it occurring, but it was just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal that information that was important in this firsthand account, and that is that the ashes covered the land like a cloud. So they used figurative language here. They're describing the ash like a cloud. No, it was not a cloud, but it was like a cloud. So I can get that picture in my brain. And then they also said at night, people could see nothing but could hear the screams of people calling for lost family members and calling to the gods. So this information here, it is not a fact, but they are just describing what is happening. So I didn't get specific facts, but what I did notice is that this text here was giving me information and about the experience. I've received thoughts and feelings. Ooh, that's why it's thoughts and feelings. And it's making me feel like I was present during this volcanic eruption. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I've looked at my differences so far. What I do know is that they both are describing the volcanic eruption. So they're both describing that, the volcanic eruption. It looks a little bit funny, doesn't it? What I do know is that they did describe the ashes falling, and that they both were describing how the town was destroyed. So in both texts, they gave us information about Mount Vesuvius, but just in a different way. The first-hand account did focus on those facts and details. I'm sorry, the second-hand account focused on those facts and details, while the first-hand account really presented the information like we were there and include thoughts and feelings and really connected with the reader. So as we close out today, I'm going to end today first with our secret phrase. Our secret phrase for today is that fourth graders are whole squad ready. I'll repeat that again. Our secret phrase is fourth graders are whole squad ready. Okay, as we go ahead and we wrap up today's lesson, we are going to be going on Seesaw, and we are going to be answering the first question. Number 1, what would you prefer to read? Would you prefer to read a first-hand account or a second-hand account? Why? Second question, what is our secret phrase? Boys and girls, today we close read a second-hand account and a first-hand account, looking for those specific examples of what makes it a first-hand and a second-hand account. So as we go ahead and go into our Seesaw activity, make sure you remember those things as you answer those questions.